What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are up at the mill. I got a call from a buddy of mine. He needed some 1x10 cedar fascia board for a deck that he just finished building. So we got a few cedar logs stacked up back there. We're gonna throw one on the mill and try to get some of this fascia board cut up. Come check it out. Alrighty, so we have this stack of cedar sitting right behind the tractor here. And this log right here, I think will fit the bill. What my buddy needs is 6 12-foot 1x10 pieces of cedar. So looking at this log, we're just over 13 feet, which is perfect. And I can pretty much pick out a 7 or 8 inch by 10 inch piece through the middle of the wood that I think we'll be able to get out of this thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift this up, put it on the mill and try to orientate it the best way possible so we can get the largest piece of wood out of it to make sure we can get all those pieces of 1x10 just out of this one log. We'll see if we can make it happen. I think we can. We'll get the tractor started up and warming up. We'll grab that log, toss it on the mill. All right, so as you can see, we got a bit of a hook in this log here, and it's a little bit lopsided. We have a larger end on that side and a little bit of a more tapered end on this side. And this side is kind of oblong. It's a little bit wider than it is tall over here. But if you take a look, if we get this oriented on the mill properly, we should have no problem getting our 1x10s out of here. If this was a nice straight log, it'd be a lot easier. But as you can see, it's pretty square on this side. It's about 16 inches on the inside of the bark by about 18 inches tall. That side is a little bit smaller. And so what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to orient this orient this on the mill with the arch facing kind of up and over, and then we'll be able to flatten this thing out pretty good here. All right, so I pulled just a couple pieces of scrap out of our jacket board side of the mill here. And because we have this lopsided log, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stack just a couple of spacers down underneath this side. That way we'll just get this side kind of raised up, lifted up a bit when we drop this thing on here. It'll just make it easier to get as close of a straight cut as possible on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to kind of just slide the logs and down a bit on the forks here, just so we're a little bit more even. Then we're gonna try to drop this thing on here. All right, so now we have the top of this log pretty leveled out right now. We'll just be able to kind of just maneuver it on the mill just a bit closer to the stays on the other side here. So I can get it moved without rotating it here. Let's see where we're at. All right, so as you can see, this log is pretty twisty, but we got it on the mill in a way that I think we can get really a cant that will be about 8 inches by 10 inches. And a cant is when you cut a log into a sawable piece of material. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to get a long 8 by 10 right out of the middle of this thing. And the way we're gonna start on this is get a good straight flat cut on this side. What we wanna do when we're sawing logs is get an equal measurement from the blade to the pith, or the heart of the log. And so with these shims down here, we've done that. We're pretty equidistant from the blade to the center of the log all the way down on either side. What that allows us to do is cut as straight of pieces of material as possible, even out of a log that's funky like this. I only have a few cedar logs left up here on the mill, and this is really one of the only ones large enough to get the 10-inch pieces of material out of. Even though it's a little funky, I still think we'll be able to do it. So we're gonna take this first cut now that we're pretty well positioned up and start working this down into a nice straight 8 by 10 cant that will then be able to cut all of our 1 by 10 pieces of material out of. Alrighty, so we just got the top and the bottom of the log parallel to each other, shaved off a couple 100 pounds of weight here, and we're sitting right about 10 inches wide right now. So what I want to do is I want to get this end kicked up so we can get as level as possible from front to back to get as many boards out of this log as we possibly can at that full 10 inches wide. So all we're gonna be able to do right now is pretty much get one side straight, flip it one more time, get the other side straight, and then we'll be cutting our 1 by 10s, no problem. So we're just gonna get this thing leveraged up, put a couple spacers underneath it, and then we'll be cutting away. Okay, so we just ended up with a big old 10 by 10 cant. And this is kind of just the largest chunk of wood that I could get that was relatively square on the inside of this log. This was quite a bit of work even just to get here. When you have curved logs like that, it takes a lot of maneuvering and there's really no way around the waste. So we always keep our jacket boards off to the side, and usually I try to get a day a month up here that I can just pick through them and resaw any usable pieces of material that I can. So don't worry, it's not all going to the burn pile, but we set it aside. We try to get a day where we can just cut it as much as we can into usable pieces. So all we're gonna do now is we're just gonna throw the stays down on the other side of the Woodmizer here, and we're just gonna cut a bunch of 3/4 inch boards, but it'll be a true 10-inch dimension. There's a little bit of bark left on this edge, but as you can see, as we drop below that, we'll be getting full, nice, clean boards off this thing. So we're just gonna start cutting these pieces up, get through the rest of this thing here real fast. The hard part is over, and I tell you what, moving stuff around with the PV and even having the help of the tractor, it is a lot of work. Anybody who thinks that you can buy a mill and just hop right into wood milling, you are in for a pretty mighty surprise, but it is totally worth it when you can come up and mill your own material out of logs. I just love it. Alrighty, so as you can see, once we get that thing square, cutting our boards is pretty much a breeze. We got this awesome cedar coming out of that kind of messed up log, and really fascia board is probably the perfect application for this stuff. We got quite a bit of material out of it, obviously being 3/4 inches thick. We're getting quite a bit of material out of that cant there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull these aside. I'm gonna mill just the rest of the cant that we have on here because there's no sense in leaving it. And then we're out of here. So we're just gonna take a few more cuts on this thing. I'm gonna get this stacked over to the side. And that's pretty much it for today on the mill. Not too bad for a quick couple hours in the afternoon. And some nice cedar for my buddy to use as fascia board. Alrighty, that is it for today up on the mill. We got like 4, 6, we got like 10 1x10s out of that curved log. Some of them are a little bit questionable, but 8 of them look really, really good. They have good straight grains. They have a few knots in here, but again, it's cedar, it's knotty cedar, it's beautiful. It's definitely gonna pass. 6 of them are gonna go to my buddy Max. Max, good luck with those 1x10s. And a few of them are gonna go back over to my house, our house, for the fascia board for the deck that we just built. If you guys didn't check out that deck build video, it's listed in our profile there on YouTube. Go check that thing out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful or inspirational in any ways, you guys hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.